everyone, and welcome to my review of Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead was released on the PC and Xbox 360 in 2009 and was developed and released by Valve via Steam and Electronic Arts via retail. The setting of Left 4 Dead 2 takes on from where Left 4 Dead set off, but this time it's in the southern United States, and there are new characters in the game, which are Coach, Nick, Rochelle, and my personal favourite, Ellis. There are also some new infected as well, but we'll come to them in a little while. Left 4 Dead, in the same way that Left 4 Dead 2, in the same way that Left 4 Dead was, is set across 5 campaigns. These are Dead Centre, Carnival, Swamp, Hard Rain, and The Parish. And there was also some download content that was released for it, which was called The Passing. In The Passing, you actually come across the characters from the original Left 4 Dead, which is where it gets its title from. Now, this map set that is available on the DLC doesn't contain as many levels as each individual chapter in the main game does, but it's still pretty good nevertheless. Left 4 Dead 2 introduces quite a number of new features as well as characters and new infected. First of all, as you can see here, you now get equipped with a lovely chainsaw to deal out death to zombies and the general other infected. But in addition to the melee weapon system, which includes swords, frying pans, baseball bats, cricket bats, you name it, there are also extra pickups as well. In the original Left 4 Dead, your standard collectibles tended to be the pain pills and pipe bombs or Molotov cocktails. This time round there's actually more you can get, such as defibrillators, which means you can revive one of the survivors should they be at the point of death, lying on the floor just waiting to die, or have just died should I say. You can also pick up more different types. You've got an adrenaline shot, which works a little bit different to the pain pills. The adrenaline shot makes you move a lot faster. It doesn't give you any type of health boost, just makes you move a lot faster. And there are other weapons and collectibles to pick up along the way, but I'm not going to spoil those for you. I'll leave you to discover those. Moving on to the new infected. In addition to our old favourites, the tank, hunter, smoker and the witch, amongst the new infected are jockeys. Now, the jockey is probably one of the biggest pains in the backside you're likely to come across in the game. These charming fellows like to jump through the air, a bit like a hunter, but land on your head. And you know when a jockey comes in, because you can hear this like really insane chattering laughter, for want of a better phrase. They'll jump on your head and they'll take you away from your teammates, usually into a horde of infected, and usually into the path of a tank or something else that you don't particularly want to get anywhere near. And they're pretty awkward to kill at times as well, because they take not loads of hits, but they take a few hits, and certainly sufficient enough hits to not want to have to go one-on-one with them. And in addition, there is the charger. Now, the charger looks a little bit like a slightly smaller version of the tank. He has like one super powered arm, and he just charges into the group. He can scatter the group when he charges into the group, and he'll pick up one of the survivors, run off quite as far as he can with them, and then just start pummeling them into the ground. And again, you know, the charger, not a very nice fellow to come across. And when he's charging at you, again, he can be reasonably difficult to kill, because he actually charges with his massive arm leading, and that sort of absorbs a lot of the shots. So you have to be on your toes and make sure you get out of the way as soon as you can. The next one is the Spitter. Now, the Spitter is an unusual type of infected, not similar to the Boomer, because the Spitter, she can spit poison for quite some distance, and not only that, when you kill her, she doesn't set off the horde or anything like that, but she does leave a puddle of acid on the floor as well. So you've got to be really careful, because the acid does take a considerable amount of energy from you. she's not really similar to the Boomer in the way she operates. The Boomer will try and run up to you and vomit all over you, where the Spitter will try and keep a distance and just sort of bombard you with spittle from as far away as she can. And the next one is the Wandering Witch. That's right, just when you thought that the witches couldn't be more irritating or annoying, there are now witches in the game that like to get up and moan and go around the place weeping and generally being miserable. And these can come across in some real irritating areas, and the one saving grace is, unlike the other witches which tend to be static, and if they're in a place where you need to go, you've got relatively little choice other than to startle the witch. These ones can sneak up on you unawares sometimes, so you have to keep your eyes peeled should you hear the all too familiar whimpering and moaning sound of the witch. And as I say, in addition, there are also the standard infected as well, that was from the original game. When I say standard infected, I mean the standard special infected, whatever. These are the tank, the hunter, the smoker, the witch that likes to lie on the floor moping around, and also the Boomer. So in Left 4 Dead 2, quite often you will feel like you're just getting completely overwhelmed, because obviously in addition to these guys, you've got the standard infected. There are also some slight variations with the standard infected as well. These are now more thematically linked to the environment that you're in. For example, in the carnival, you've got infected clowns, zombified clowns, which I imagine for some people must be the ultimate in grueling horror and terror. And in one of the areas, there's also, like, they're in hazmat suits and so on and so forth. So there is quite a difference to the actual normal infected zombies as well. Just to go on to the actual gameplay, there is more variety in this sequel to Left 4 Dead than there was in the original. Not just because of the infected, not just because of the new weapons that are added to the roster, but the actual environments themselves, the challenges that you face are more varied. In the original Left 4 Dead, you just tended to be wanting to get from point A to point B, but this time round there are actually specific missions as well thrown in. There's obviously still the point A to point B, get into the safe room, so on and so forth, but actually in addition to that, there are also some missions that you have to carry out. This particular one here that you've seen actually required you to go to a gas station to fill up the gas canisters. Then you have to take them all the way back. So the level, rather than it just being a simple straightforward run right through to the end of the level, actually has some sort of structure. And as you can see in the footage as well, the weather actually comes and plays a part. This level is quite a challenging one, because when you actually go through this section, originally it's dry, and then there's obviously a hurricane and a storm that hit, and the whole area becomes flooded on your way back. And every so often the weather will decrease and get worse. It's lightning, high wind, driving rain, and your visibility gets reduced substantially. When you're moving through the water, your movement becomes reduced as well. So the environment in Left 4 Dead 2 starts to play more of a key factor as well than it did in the original. So there were a number of advances made. Overall, Left 4 Dead 2 is an excellent game. I really enjoyed playing it, and I think it is better than the original Left 4 Dead. The additional things, such as the challenges in the environment, the new infected, the general sense that there's a lot more coming at you this time, definitely adds to the game. And just briefly to mention that when this was being released, there was a number of people around the internet that wanted to boycott it. Now these people obviously felt aggrieved by the fact that the sequel had come out so soon after the original Left 4 Dead, and they felt that they were being ripped off that Valve hadn't really supported the original Left 4 Dead like they should have done, but the basic issue is that to implement all of these improvements really did need a direct sequel. And I'm sure most people say that when you start playing the game you'll appreciate the fact that, you know, these improvements do make for a much better game, and the proof of the pudding really is in just how successful it is. And I bet the majority of the people that wanted to boycott this game ended up buying it anyway. Anyway, that's all I've got to say really for this review. Left 4 Dead 2 is a fantastic game, and nothing more left for me to say than thanks for watching it, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks a lot.